You hear the name Mile 44 and you expect a simple marker on a long road. You expect a forgotten stretch of highway with dust on both sides. You do not expect a place where engines fail without warning. You do not expect a place where people vanish without leaving footprints. You do not expect a place where sound dies in the air as if the world closes its mouth. Mile 44 sits on an old transport route in the northern desert. The highway cuts through sand that looks endless. Drivers try to cross it before sunset. They avoid stopping. They talk about a strange silence that covers the place after dark. They talk about headlights that flicker for no reason. They talk about shadows that move across the road when no one is there. You begin in the year 1978. A long-haul trucker named Aaron Hensley drives a heavy rig through the northern desert. The sun sets behind him. The sky turns dark blue. The road stretches ahead like a long stripe of fading light. Aaron taps the fuel gauge. He checks his mirrors. He wants to reach the next station before midnight. He knows the stories of Mile 44. Other drivers told him to keep moving. They said the air grows thick. They said the road hums like it carries a pulse. They said a woman appears near the sign. They said she does not speak. They said she only watches. Aaron does not believe legends. He believes in engines. He believes in fuel. He believes in the sound of his tires. He keeps driving until he reaches the old wooden sign that marks Mile 43. He checks his clock. He relaxes a little. He expects to pass Mile 44 without trouble. Then the engine coughs. The lights dim. The truck slows. He presses the gas pedal. Nothing happens. The headlights flicker. The engine stops. The truck rolls to a halt. Aaron mutters under his breath. He turns the key. The engine only clicks. He tries again. The same empty click. He steps out of the truck and climbs down into the cold air. He walks to the front grille. He knows engines well enough to hear trouble. He checks the hood. He checks the battery. Everything looks normal. He hears no rattle. He hears no leak. He hears nothing at all. The silence bothers him. The desert at night usually carries some sound: wind, sand, small insects. Here the air stays still. His breath feels thick. He looks at the road sign ahead. Mile 44. He climbs back into the truck and tries the engine again. Nothing. He takes the flashlight from his glove compartment. He steps out and stands in front of the truck. He shines the light on the road. The beam seems weaker than it should be. The light reaches only a short distance before fading. He walks toward the sign. Each step feels slower than it should. The silence grows stronger. He feels a small pressure in his ears. He reaches the sign and raises the light. He sees footprints, small footprints, bare feet. They start from the edge of the sign and go across the road toward the desert. He kneels down. The prints look fresh. The sand has not filled them. They look like the feet of a woman. He follows them with a flashlight. They lead into the open desert. They continue in a straight line. They do not spread or wander. They look like someone walked with purpose. He takes 4 steps after them. The air shifts behind him. He hears soft movement. He turns the flashlight back toward the truck. A woman stands beside the driver's door. Her hair hangs down to her shoulders. Her clothes look old and loose. She stands still and watches him. Her eyes look dark in the flashlight. She does not blink. Aaron freezes. His mouth feels dry. He tries to call out. His voice breaks. The woman does not move. She keeps watching him. Her hands hang at her sides. Her posture seems calm but wrong. He walks backward slowly. His flashlight shakes. The woman remains still. He steps toward the road. He turns for a moment to check the footprints again. When he turns back, the woman stands closer. She stands only 10 steps away. He did not hear her walk. He did not hear anything. He moves toward the truck. He tries to keep his eyes on her. The flashlight beam weakens. The woman's face looks pale. Her eyes look darker. She takes 1 step, then another. Aaron reaches the truck. He puts 1 foot on the step. He reaches for the door handle. The woman appears at the front of the truck. Her movement feels unnatural. She stands still again. She raises her hand. Her fingers look long. She points toward the desert. Aaron shakes his head. He climbs inside the truck and closes the door. He locks it. He presses his back against the seat. He breathes fast. He looks through the windshield. The woman stands in the middle of the road. Her dress moves as if wind passes through it, but he feels no wind. She keeps pointing. Her face looks calm, but her eyes look full of sorrow. He tries the engine again. The key turns. Silence. He slaps the wheel. He tries again. Nothing. He slumps forward. He hears a soft sound. He looks up. The woman stands right outside his door. Her face appears near the window. Her eyes look empty but pleading. Her lips move. He cannot hear a word. He covers his ears without knowing why. The inside of the truck grows colder. The windows fog from inside. He wipes the glass. The woman disappears. The desert becomes silent again. The flashlight on the seat flickers. It dies. The truck becomes dark. The only sound comes from the long empty road. It is not wind. It is not sand. It sounds like a slow breath. Aaron stays in the truck until dawn. The engine starts by itself when the first sunlight hits the hood. He drives away without looking at the mirror. He does not stop until he reaches the next station 20 miles ahead. He walks inside and asks the clerk if anyone has disappeared near Mile 44. The clerk nods. His face looks tired. He says people vanish every few years. He says they do not find remains. He says they do not find clothing. They only find footprints. The clerk tells a story from the early years of the highway. He says a woman named Leila Barrett disappeared near the same mile in 1952. She was traveling with her husband. Their car broke down at dusk. He walked to get help. When he returned, she was gone. They found her footprints in the sand. They followed them for 5 miles. Then the prints ended. The search team found nothing else. The husband never recovered. Drivers believe the woman seen near mile 44 is Leila. They believe she tries to lead people into the desert. Some say she wants help. Some say she wants company. Some say she wants revenge. The truckers avoid talking about the darker version. The darker version says that Leila did not vanish alone. The darker version says that someone else vanished with her. The darker version says a man walked into the desert with her that night because he followed the same footprints. The darker version says he was never seen again. You move forward to the late 1990s. A team of surveyors inspects the highway. They want to widen the road. They want to study the soil. They set up a small base near mile 44. They work during the day. They plan to leave before sunset. One surveyor named Joel stays behind. He wants to finish his notes. He sits near the wooden sign and writes measurements. The wind stays still. The light grows dim. The others call him to pack up. He waves and says he needs 5 more minutes. He reaches into his bag. When he lifts his head, a woman stands beside the sign. She looks at him with a calm face. Her dress looks old. Her hands hang at her sides. Her eyes look dark. He jumps to his feet. He calls out to his team. No one answers. He steps back. The woman follows him with slow steps. She points toward the desert. Joel calls again. Still no answer. The woman's face tilts slightly. Her expression looks full of a quiet ache. She reaches out. Joel drops his notebook and runs toward the trucks. He does not look back until he reaches the group. When he finally looks over his shoulder, the woman stands near the sign. She raises her hand, then she fades. He tries to explain what he saw. The others dismiss it. They say he was tired. They say shadows played tricks on him. They say nothing supernatural happens in the desert. You move forward again. The year becomes 2021. A family disappears while driving to a wedding. Their last known location sits between mile 43 and mile 45. Investigators find their car. The engine looks intact. There are no signs of struggle. The headlights face the desert. The doors stay unlocked. The ground around the car shows no footprints, not even from the family. Investigators expand the search. They find 3 sets of footprints 1 mile away, all bare feet, all pointed toward the center of the desert. They follow them for half a mile. The prints vanish. The ground becomes smooth. No one can explain why. That case revives the old stories. Drivers talk about the woman again. They say she looks more active now. They say she appears earlier in the evening. They say she reaches closer to passing vehicles. They say her stare looks sharper. Now you reach the deeper part of the story. The part told by the oldest locals. They speak about mile 44 as if it holds something beneath the sand. They talk about a well that once stood there before the highway existed. They talk about a small settlement in the late 19th century. They talk about people who lived by the well and vanished one summer night without leaving signs. They talk about finding the well filled with cold water even in the heat. They talk about villagers who refused to go near the spot after sunset. One elder tells a story of a woman who was last seen walking toward the well with her hands shaking. She cried for help. She said someone was calling her name. She said the voice came from the desert. She said she could not ignore it. The village tried to stop her. She walked out of their hands as if pulled by a force. She walked across the sand. She did not return. Years later, a highway crew paved the road. They placed the mile 44 marker near the same spot. Strange noises started the same year. Travelers reported lights in the desert. They saw a pale figure standing near the empty sand. They heard faint cries. They felt cold in the middle of summer. They avoided stopping near the sign. You now reach the events that shake the legend into the present. A researcher named Mia Torres visits the area for a documentary. She studies cases of unexplained disappearances. She brings a camera crew. They set up equipment near the wooden sign at sunset. She wants to record the silence. She wants to capture the air. She wants proof of any strange presence. The air grows still. The crew notices their microphones lose sound. The camera picks up static. The desert looks darker than usual. Mia checks her notes. She asks the crew to stay alert. She stands near the sign. She speaks into her microphone. She says she wants to understand what happened to the people who vanished. The camera picks up movement behind her. A figure appears near the road. A woman stands facing the desert. Her dress looks old. Her hair hangs loose. Her hands shake. She moves her lips as if calling someone. The crew steps back. Mia turns slowly. Her face changes. She lifts a hand toward the woman. She speaks to her. The woman does not look at her. The woman keeps speaking to the desert. The sound recorder captures a faint whisper. It sounds like a name. It sounds like she called someone to return. The woman turns. Her eyes fix on the camera. The crew freezes. The camera shakes. The woman lifts her hand and points toward the open desert. The sand shifts even without wind. A line of small, fresh footprints appears. They look like the prints of a woman. They form one after another. They move away from the sign. They stop a few feet away. The desert becomes still again. Mia takes one step forward. The crew shouts for her to stop. She ignores them. She wants to study the footprints. She kneels beside them. She touches the sand. It feels cold, even though the air stays warm. She lifts her head. The woman stands behind her. The woman reaches for her shoulder. Mia feels a shock of cold. She gasps. The crew runs to her. They pull her away. The woman disappears. Mia shakes. She struggles to breathe. She says the woman did not try to harm her. She says the woman tried to show her something deeper in the desert. She says the woman wants someone to follow her. The crew leaves that night. They refuse to return. Mia returns alone the next week. She walks to mile 44 after sunset. She carries a small recorder and a flashlight. She steps near the sign. The air grows still again. She looks around. She asks the woman to appear. She hears a sound behind her. She turns. The woman stands only a few feet away. Her eyes look full of fear. She points at the desert. She moves her lips. Mia hears only small fragments. Come, help, lost. Mia takes 3 steps toward the footprints that appear again. The woman moves with her. The sand seems to open a faint path. A soft, low vibration moves through the ground. Mia hears a second voice far in the desert. A man's voice. It carries pain. It carries pleading. It sounds trapped. The woman looks at Mia. Her expression holds both sorrow and urgency. She reaches again. Mia feels the cold again. It climbs her arm. She drops her recorder. She steps back. The woman's expression falls. She moves her lips again. The wind rises suddenly. Sand swirls. The woman fades. Mia runs back to the road. She picks up her equipment. She drives away without looking back. Her footage becomes famous among researchers. People study the sound. People examine the movements. People slow the frames to see the shape of the woman. They draw the same conclusion. She is not alone. The mysterious disappearance. A true horror of mile 44. The sun never rose properly over mile 44 the next morning. A dull gray light spread over the highway like a thin sheet. Daniel stood outside the ranger office and held his notebook tight. His hands shook. The events of the night kept replaying in his head. The missing woman. The footprints that appeared and then twisted into shapes he could not explain. The strange sound that moved between the trees. The burning smell from the cabin that had no source. He did not sleep. Neither did Officer Hale. She walked out of the station with a thermos of coffee. Her face looked hard. Her eyes were hollow. We go back, she said. We follow the last clear tracks. We check the gully again. We search until we find her or find something that tells us what happened. The team moved out before 8. 4 officers, 1 search dog. Daniel followed behind them. He felt the same pressure in the air as the night before, a weight that did not lift, a presence that watched. The woods looked wrong. The trees were too still. The air felt heavy. Daniel noticed the silence. No birds, no wind. They reached the old path near the gully. Hale told the others to spread out. The ground was soft. The dog picked up a scent and pulled sharply to the left. The officers ran after it. The path ended at a patch of blackened soil. The dog refused to step forward. It growled. Its fur stood up. Daniel stared at the ground. The burned patch formed a circle. A perfect one. Almost too perfect. Hale knelt. She touched the soil. It was cold. She whispered, "This was not like this when we passed by last night." Daniel felt a chill creep up his back. He noticed something inside the circle. A piece of fabric. Brown. Torn. He picked it up with a stick. It matched the missing woman's jacket. One officer called out from deeper in the woods. Hale ran toward him. Daniel followed. The trees opened into a narrow clearing. A trail of footprints cut through the mud. They were barefoot. Deep, heavy, uneven, as if the person who made them was in pain or was being pulled. Daniel counted them, then stopped. The footprints changed shape as they moved. Human at first, then wider, then longer. The toes warped, the heels stretched. The final prints did not look human at all. Hale stared at them, her voice cracked. "What in the world is this?" The officers took photos. Daniel wrote notes. None of it helped. The footprints ended at a fallen tree. Beyond that point, the ground was untouched. The trail vanished, completely. Hale's radio buzzed. Static filled the line, then a voice pushed through, slow, broken, hard to understand. "Found at the old cabin at North Point. You need to come here now." The signal ended. Hale stared at Daniel. Her face tightened. "North Point is 10 miles from here. No one went that way yesterday." They made their way to the trucks. The drive was slow. The road was cracked. Branches hung low. The sky darkened even more. The trees closed in like walls. North Point had once been a small logging area, abandoned decades ago. Only one structure remained, a cabin built of rotting wood and rusted nails. Smoke rose from its chimney. They stopped 200 feet away. No one spoke. The smoke curled upward in slow spirals. Daniel smelled the same burning scent from the night before. The lead officer approached. He knocked on the cabin door. No answer. He pushed it open. A loud crack sounded. The officer flew backward as if shoved by something inside. He hit the dirt. His head struck a rock. He groaned and rolled over. Hale shouted for everyone to fall back. Daniel saw movement inside the cabin. A slow shape in the shadows. A figure hunched close to the floor, breathing loud, wet, uneven. Hale held her flashlight high. She stepped inside. The beam cut through the dark. The missing woman sat against the far wall. Her head hung to one side. Her hair dripped with mud. Her eyes were open. She did not blink. Her lips moved. Slow, like someone waking from a nightmare, a whisper escaped her. It followed me. It followed me from the road. Make it stop. Hale approached her. She crouched down. She spoke softly. We are here. You are safe now. The woman screamed. A sharp, high scream that shook the walls of the cabin. The beam from Hale's flashlight flickered. The air inside thickened. The temperature dropped. The woman pushed herself back against the wall. Her body twisted. Her shoulders jerked. Every movement looked painful. She pointed at the window. It is still here. Daniel turned. A tall shape stood outside the glass. Thin, pale, no face. Only darkness where the face should have been. It pressed one long hand against the window. The glass bent inward. Daniel froze. Hale grabbed him by the collar and yanked him toward the door. They ran. The officers pulled the injured man away from the cabin. The woman inside screamed again. The window shattered. The shape moved. Daniel never saw it clearly. Only a blur, a cold rush of air. A sound that felt like a low moan. The trees bent as it passed. The branches shook. Leaves flew in circles. The woman's scream stopped. The officers rushed inside. Daniel followed. The cabin was silent, empty. The woman was gone. No tracks on the floor. No sign that she had ever been there. Only one thing remained. The same burnt circle they found in the woods, now burned into the cabin floor. Hale backed away. Her voice was low. We are leaving right now. We call the state. We close mile 44 today. They drove back fast. No one talked. Daniel stared out the window. He felt something watching from the trees. At the station, Hale made her report. The state authorities arrived that evening. They blocked the road. They sealed the woods. They shut down the entire area. They did not find the missing woman. They did not find the creature. They did not find any physical proof that could explain what happened. Daniel left the town the next day. He could not stay near mile 44. He felt the presence even in daylight. He felt it move behind him every time he turned. 2 weeks later, he received a package with no return address. Inside, it was his notebook. He had left it in the cabin without remembering. It should have been burned or lost. The last page had new writing, not his handwriting. It waits at mile 44. It wants the ones who follow its trail. It wants the ones who look for the missing you looked, and it knows your name. Daniel dropped the notebook. He stepped back. He felt the chill return. The same cold from the cabin. The same cold from the woods. He closed his blinds. He locked his doors. He did not sleep again that night. The final line on the page stayed burned in his mind. It never loses the trail. It only waits. It only watches. And once you see it, it never stops following.